Hey love, hey, welcome back to my channel. You know what they say, third time is the charm. I really tried to record this for you over the weekend, and I think that I was trying to glaze over some of the specifics of what led me to quit my job. And I think I was doing not only a disservice to myself, but also to you. So I am going to share a little bit about my experiences, but before I begin with that, I want to kind of just take you back just a little bit. And so I'm sure you're like, hey, I want to watch this. You're probably in a similar situation. You're at that point where you're trying to figure out what's next for you. Is this a move that you should make? It is a personal decision and you have to, do what's best for you. For me, I still stand by that it was the best decision for me. But let me tell you a little bit about how I got to this point. I started working with this company about 2.5 years ago. Actually, as of this recording, I have officially been unemployed for 3 months. And I really wanted to give myself time to process everything that I was feeling, all of my emotions, everything that happened, right? Before I told this story. And I think that now that I'm in this space 3 months after resigning, I think I can tell this story with hopefully not getting emotional. So I started with this company 2.5 years ago, and when I applied to this role, I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea what the company did. I wasn't familiar with the company. But I had a really good interview, and I obviously moved through the process. And what I loved about this company was that it was very clear based on their actions and the stories that I heard from different people, not only in the hiring process, but throughout my tenure at the company, how good the company is and how they really care for their people. And that was something that I really wanted. I wanted to work for a company that cared towards people. Prior to this, I was working at a startup, so this opportunity gave me, the opportunity to work for a larger company and potentially move internally, right? That was always my hope. Now, I did know that this role was a little more junior for me than it should have been, but I believe in getting with a good company, aligning with a good manager, right? You choose your manager when you choose your next opportunity. And I did all of those things. And even, throughout my entire tenure, people talked about how good the company is, how, much they cared about their people. So I do believe that this is something that the company, I do believe that this is a part of their reputation, and I think rightfully so. But as you know, that was not my experience, right? Without getting too into the details, because I think that's where, the emotions are going to come out, is, I chose my manager, someone who I just felt I connected with them, which I was not expecting. And I knew that I would learn a lot from this person. And 2 months after, joining the company, this person actually moved internally to a role. And so they hired someone new. And when they hired someone new, everything changed for me. I really felt really confident. I was like, yeah, I would talk to my former manager, the one that moved, and she's like, do you still feel like you made a good decision? And I really did. And then when this new manager came in, it just was night and day. It was night and day. And it started pretty early on. I mean, within 3 months of this person joining, they just took credit for my work. And for me, it wasn't, yes, it was about, hey, don't take credit for my work, but it really was about, if you are willing to do this to somebody who reports to you, then what else are you willing to do? And seeing that made me very aware that this person was not going to be for me. And I was not going to be able to succeed under this person just because of, if that's what you're doing as a quote unquote manager or leader, one, I can't and I don't respect that. But two, it's like, for me being who I am, I just knew it wasn't going to work. And so, as I predicted, things just got worse. It was, her taking credit for my work, her not even acknowledging the big projects that I was working on for the team, to the point where, she was creating a false narrative around me, the work that I produced, the contributions that I was making, and it just turned into like blatant lies. And it was really hard because, I know that I know what I brought to the table, but I also know that I killed it at everything that I did. I know that I went above and beyond, but for reasons I still don't fully understand, this person was unwilling to see that. And it made it very challenging to me, and for me, excuse me. And I did what I did what we all do. I kept my head down. I tried to keep the peace. I really, really tried. And to the point where it had gotten to a point where I felt truly like a shell of myself. Like, I had these little sticky notes on my computer that would tell me to smile just to make sure that I'm portraying a certain thing, right? Or a certain expression so she feels comfortable. I had these sticky notes that just to like orient during team meetings, something that I can just look at so that she can't say that I'm disengaged. It just, when I tell you it had gotten so bad, I was not myself. And it just never ended. It just kept going. And this person, it just felt like they had some type of personal vendetta against me. And in the end, I could not do it anymore. So I quit, just about 3 months ago. And it was a decision that I had been thinking about for a while. I had been texting my friends about. I'm like, hey, I don't know. I remember prior to actually doing it, I talked to my brother and I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And I don't know, you probably come from a similar background where they're like, don't quit your job without a backup plan. And I just was like, yeah, you're right. And he kind of really talked me out of it. But in the end, I still had to do it. I felt like I was in limbo, and I think because I was in limbo and I hadn't made that decision, I felt like I was harming myself more. Like I was just suffering because I refused to make that decision, despite, asking for multiple signs, getting the signs multiple times, and still just being like, you know what, give me another sign. No, give me another sign. That one wasn't that clear, right? We all do that, right? And so I quit for 3 reasons. I quit for my health, most and foremost, because at that time, leading up to this big decision, I was like, I'm somebody who already do not sleep. I don't sleep. I have a really hard time sleeping, or at least staying asleep. And leading up to it, it had gotten so bad that I wasn't sleeping for weeks at a time, to the point at the end of last year, I went to the doctor and was like, what is going on with me? I cannot sleep. Please help, type of thing. And we went through, as you can see, I wear a Fitbit, so we were able to look at my logs, because I do wear it when I sleep. We were able to look at my logs, and she could see like, oh, you're up at this hour, but you're not falling back to sleep till hours later, if at all. And it just I wasn't sleeping. I always felt like I was just constantly on edge. And the best way that I can describe that, which is how I described it to my doctor actually, is that I just always felt like I was vibrating. And I don't know if that makes sense, but I think it's one of those things that you just gotta experience, that you always just kind of feel a buzz. Like you could just be sitting there, but it feels like you're just slowly I don't even know how to explain it. I hope that makes sense. And one thing that my doctor told me is that, feeling like that vibration or feeling a buzz is anxiety. And I knew it was because of what I was experiencing at work, but also because, this person would just, like, my time wasn't my time. If she wanted to have a quick call for me to talk to her through something she should know, I had to stop. I was expected to stop and just cater to her, hold her hand and walk her through it. It was just honestly, it was relentless. And yeah, it was my health. I wasn't sleeping. I just was always on edge. And it got to the point where things like that would take me no time to do, I was having a really hard time processing. And I just felt like I was really, really stressed out. So I quit for my health. The second reason I quit though too is because I think that for me, one, I I think a lot of what we tell people, that whole idea of don't you quit without another job, is that we are expected to endure. And I'm gonna say something, and this may rub you the wrong way. I'm not built for endure. I'm tired of enduring. I think that I did that, and what did it get me? You know what I'm saying? Like, we teach this idea, and in the end, what did it get me? I'm still unemployed. I ain't got no job, despite doing my job well. So I'm supposed to endure for someone's bad behavior or bad attitude towards me, and internalizing all of that harm, just to do it? Nah. No. I just got tired of enduring for the sake of enduring. You know what I mean? Because again, I had been with that company for 2.5 years, and recently someone asked me, why did you stay so long? I stayed because, as I said in the beginning, even though I knew the role was a little bit more junior, I wanted to be at a good company, and I wanted to be able to grow at a good company. So I endured to just get to the point where I can move internally. Except when that happened, my manager did something crazy, and that changed my ability to do that, which ultimately gave me no other options but to quit, right? And so it's those things, right? I just got tired of enduring for the sake of enduring. And, one thing I will say too is that for me, it got to the point where I had to realize that no one was going to save me, right? Not that I was hoping for it. Like, I was doing everything that I think I was supposed to do. Everything that everybody tells you to do. Talk to your manager, check. Talk to her manager, check. I talked to her manager so many times and nothing ever happened, right? Then when I got to the point where I was just like, something has got to give, I went to HR. Nothing happened. Like, so you mean to tell me all of these layers of people are not listening to me, and you expect me just to endure, when I know that I've not only done my job, but I have exceeded expectation. But because this person is unwilling to see me or acknowledge my brilliance, my excellence, I'm supposed to just sit here and just accept it? No, absolutely not. No, we're not doing that. And so I think that's what it just got to the point of. And I remember one thing you should know is that prior to quitting my job, I did take a leave of absence. I was off for 3 months. And I mean, if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to make a video about it. But I was off for 3 months, and you would think that that would be enough for me to not only just kind of heal through the process, work through my emotions, but also for the company to do their job, because I literally begged them to launch an investigation. And it didn't happen. It for reasons I still don't understand, it did not happen. And when I came back, I remember asking them like, hey, what happened? And they were just like, oh, well, we did launch an investigation. We see no reason to move you or move the other person, da da da. And in my mind, I'm like, there's no way you launched an investigation because it's just false. What you're saying to me is a blatant lie. And so I remember telling them, it's like, I had already told them that I felt unsafe. And so I was like, you're putting me in a situation where, like, how am I supposed to succeed under these conditions? So again, going back to that whole enduring, just enduring, no, because I did everything that I was supposed to do, right? And then I think the last reason that I quit is Karen White said it in her song best. I am not your superwoman. I'm not. When I came back from my leave, it was very clear that you know, they were walking kind of on ice about, me taking a leave and everything. And hey, we want to make sure you're okay and that you don't feel overwhelmed. And they were saying all the right things. But almost in the same breath, they were being like, okay, so when do you think you'll be up to speed? I don't know, because I've been gone for 3 months. So yeah, right? And they wanted me to be up to speed because it was very clear. So one thing you should know is that everybody on the team had been fleeing the team. Everybody that I started the team with, who were on the team before me, left. They left, moved on to a new role. And so when I came, a girl who had been on the team longer than me was just transitioning. Like, literally, I came in on that Monday. Her last day was that Wednesday. So that made me the most senior person on the team. And so now they come back and they're kind of trying to dangle the carrot about a promotion, which makes no sense to me, because prior to me leaving, y'all were saying I wasn't doing my job. Make it make sense, right? And they kept just kind of saying little things. Hey, we want the team to do this, that, and the third. And what they meant was, we want you to teach the team. And they wanted me to teach the team because they didn't know what we did. They didn't know our processes, our systems, nothing. Nothing. These are the same people who are saying I'm not doing my job, but they don't even know what I'm doing. They don't even know all the things that I oversee. And so, back to what I was saying. I'm not your superwoman. I am not going to lift you up, save your butt, save the day when you have been not only taking credit for my work, lying on me blatantly, doing so many microaggressions, and now to the point that you are willing to not only ruin my career, but ruin my career at this company just so you can hide the fact that you don't know your job. I'm not your superwoman. I am not your superwoman. And so it was a very, very hard decision to make. Before I quit, I decided to go into the office. So my company was remote first. And so I had been with the company for 2.5 years. And of that time, I had only gone into the office 3 times. So in that third time, I decided to go into the office because I was able to meet the woman who hired me actually, was in my office. She's not typically in my area. She's in Florida. I was in Texas. It's a global company. And she was like, hey, I'm going to be in town. Would you like to meet in person? And so I was like, bet, I'll be there. So I went in there. I went there to meet her, but also kind of just to make my final decision. And I spoke with her, bless her heart. I spoke with her and she gave me a lot of really great advice. And I was really just like, okay, she's right. Stick it out. Don't leave. It's a good company. Da, 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 da. Again, going back to that whole enduring thing, right? But that was a Wednesday. The following week, Monday, I woke up and I get it. I couldn't do it anymore. I just could not do it anymore. And my body knew that day was the day. It said, nope, we're not doing this anymore. You don't want to do this anymore. Stop it. And I woke up and I just remember just feeling kind of in a little mood or whatever. And I realized it wasn't a mood. I think I had to grieve that decision before I finally did it. I'm sorry, before I officially did it. Mind you, my resignation letter was already written, and it was written because I'm somebody who, I write, but I'm just like, sometimes you just need to get it out of you to see how you feel about it. And so I'd already written it like weeks before, just to get it out my body. And that day, that Monday, I just remember just being like in a funk. I was crying. I didn't know what was going on. I realized now that was grief, but I was just like not in a mood. And I remember calling my husband and letting him know, like, hey, just so you know, this is gonna happen today. And even though I told him that, I remember we were texting about it, and I remember trying to talk myself out of it. Like, I was texting him for his advice and feedback and everything, but the more I was texting him, the more I was talking myself into it. And I think once I realized what I was doing, I said, today's the day. In the middle of texting him, I went to my computer, looked over the resignation letter, sent it. And I let him know that I sent it. He's like, how you feel? Yo, I felt relief. I felt relief. I felt like I had been in limbo for so long, trying so hard not to make this decision. Because again, you hear it in your head. Don't you quit your good job without another one lined up, right? You hear it. I heard it. But sometimes you just gotta choose you. And I had to choose me. I had to choose me, and I am so grateful that I did, because in choosing me, I feel better. I went to a Friendsgiving a couple of weeks ago, and I talked about having peace. For so long, I had just been in fight or flight mode. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. I had been in fight and flight mode for so long that I just was no good. I just was always on edge, and it feels good to finally have some peace for myself, because I deserve that. And I truly believe that if I hadn't quit, when I quit, nothing would have changed. Now, let me be clear. This lady was not good to me. She was evil to me. But I wasn't the only one experiencing things. The entire team had been struggling with this manager. Sorry, there's a difference between manager or leader. Let's be clear, manager. The whole team had been struggling with this manager. And again, we went to her manager. She didn't do anything. No one was doing anything. So I think me quitting was just like, holy crap, what's going on? What is happening with this team? Because again, other people had been fleeing the team. The girl got promoted. Well, I told you, I came back Monday. She left Wednesday. Another girl left like a couple weeks before she left. 2 months before that, another girl had left. Like, when I tell you we couldn't keep people on the team, it's because of her. And I think that if I did not leave when I left, nothing would have happened for the team. And so while it frustrates me that I had to go through so much, I endured so much hurt, so much pain, so much negativity, so many microaggressions, so many just like put downs. It frustrates me, and it makes me angry. I had to go through all of those things, and then when I left, that's when things changed. Literally the week after I left, my manager's manager was moved within the company. And a couple weeks after I left, that manager who had been evil to me and making everybody's life, you know what, She was let go. And, I say this all the time because I am absolutely someone who always advocates for myself because I don't have a choice but to, right? A lot of people tell me like, hey, you're so direct, you're so this, that. I don't have a choice but to be direct. I need to be direct so you understand very clearly what I'm saying and what my intentions are behind what I'm saying. I don't have I don't have the ability to like skirt around the truth because then that's when things get misconstrued. Let me just say what I gotta say and let's go from there. And so I think that's hard, right? I feel like I tell my friends like I don't want to always have to be the person who does this, who speaks up, I'm tired. I'm tired. I want to rest too. I want to be quiet too. But at the end of the day, I think seeing how things kind of transpired after I left, it teaches me that there is power in your voice. It's power in my voice, right? And I don't know if you're like me, if you're someone who always speaks up, who's always gonna be like, nope, that's not it. That's not it. But it's hard being that person. But I feel really, I'm happy that hopefully now the team can thrive without this person over them. I really am. So I don't know what made you click on this video. I don't know what, where you are in your own, career of trying to figure out what's next for you. And maybe you're in a difficult situation like I was and you're just like, but my mom said this or so-and-so said this, right? I can't tell you what to do. What I can say is that for me, it was the best decision for me. And I'm at peace now. I have more peace. I'll say that. I have more peace. I'm still working through it. I don't want to give the impression that, it's all rainbows and sunshines over here. I am still processing my emotions every single day. I'm still, when I do wake up in the middle of the night, I'm still thinking about everything that happened to me because I just cannot believe that this is even possible still. But I have more peace than I had. And again, I deserve that. And I recognize the privilege that I have. I am a woman who's married. And so I do have that support during this time, right? My husband and I, we don't have any kids. So I was able to make this decision because I'm not worried about how my family is going to eat. You know what I mean? Your situation may be very, very different. And it's important for me to say this to you because I recognize the privilege that I have. It's my husband and we have a little fur baby. That's it, right? And so I know that everyone can't make the decision that I make, but I will tell you that I also took steps to make sure that should I make this decision, this was months ago, that we were set. And so, from everything. And so I'm happy to create a video about, the decisions, the financial decisions that I made for me and my family before making this decision. Perhaps that'll help you along your journey. But if it will, just let me know in the comments below. I don't know your story. I don't know where you are right now, but I really do hope that this helps you figure out what you want to do next. For me, it was a no. I had to choose me and my health first. I was sick and tired of enduring just for the sake of enduring, even though nobody was listening to me. And it wasn't going to change. It wasn't going to change. And, when, an environment don't change, you gotta change environments. And that's what I did. And then last but not least, I'm not willing to be anybody's superwoman who's not willing to help me. You sitting here lying, doing all the things to harm me. And you think I'm going to lift you up, save your butt, and save the day? We're not doing that. We're not doing that. And so, These are the 3 reasons that I quit my job. If you have already quit your job, I want to hear your story. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you once again for just tuning in. I'm so grateful. If there's something that I said that you want to learn more about, whether it's about my leave of absence, the financial decisions that I made, whatever it may be, let me know. I'm happy to do it. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.